Hi there, this is Clayton Hicks. I'm the CEO and founder of H7 Network, and this is Behind the Network. And Behind the Network, we're going to be interviewing our leaders in H7, our members in H7, and then we're going to share them as often as we can. We're going to share them after all of our meetings that we're doing with our virtual H7 signature meetings that we're doing. They'll be listed on YouTube. We're going to be sharing this with all the members because during this time where things are moving a little slower, we want to make sure that we're really trying to build relationships. And so we thought we would start with us and make sure that everybody can get to know us a little bit better. And then we'll just take it from there. So I'd like to introduce you to Angel Hicks. She's the president of H7 Network and also the founder of Evolve Women's Network. And in H7 Network, she handles our PR and our public relations and our member relations. So Angel, won't you share a little bit about what you're doing within the organization and your role within H7?
All right. So I am, like Clayton said, the president of H7 Network, and I basically focus on, I do a lot of back office stuff here for the organization. I also do a lot of PR, and in that PR, I am going to other networking organizations, like when that was a thing, and just meeting people and inviting them to meetings, introducing them to our leaders. I also do member relations, so I make sure that their profiles are updated and anything that they need. I'm kind of right there for that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So why don't you, in a minute or so, share how you kind of got involved in this H7 network.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take more in a minute because I can. So, about 6 years ago, a little more than 6 years ago now, I was in a complete dead-end job, the highest in my small business company, and just complaining a lot about not being able to make more money. There's nowhere else for me to go. And so one of the members of when it was called TBN back then, she said, hey, she knew me, of course, she's my mom. If anybody knows Linda B, that's my mom. And she said, I know this guy, he owns this networking group. I didn't know what networking was at the time. And she said, he might be able to get you another job. He knows lots of small businesses in the area, lots of people that are hiring. So I said, okay, Mom, but this is not a date. I'm not dating anyone. I'm done with that, right? I'm going to stay single, alone, and happy for the rest of my life. And so she convinced me to meet this guy on this one-to-one, which I didn't even know existed. I didn't know if that was a thing. And so we met about 3 weeks later. And I bought the beers at that. I want that to be known. I did buy the beers at that one-to-one. My husband says he's been paying for everything ever since. So then 3 months later, we were engaged, and 6 months later, we were married. And about a year and a half after that, I sold my executive assistance business that I had started, after I quit that dead-end job, and went into networking full-time. Completely raw, had no idea that this was even a thing, and just fell in love with the people, fell in love with the culture, and of course fell in love with the founder. That happened first.
Yeah, sure. So, okay, all right. So how did you, understanding that you founded Evolve, why don't you talk a little bit about some of your challenges with creating the Evolve Women's Network? Some of the challenges you may have been faced with.
Well, one of the biggest challenges in the beginning was I mean, like I've said, I had no idea networking was a thing. So really there was a big learning curve, which Clayton will attest to, big learning curve in understanding what we were doing, and how I could be of service to others. Still trying to find my own strengths and who I was at the time, and blending this family of 5 and being a new wife and all of those things were kind of the biggest challenge, I think.
Sure.
And really
So,
figuring out what I wanted it to be.
what's that?
I said really we're figuring out what I wanted it to be. I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to make sure that it was a support for women like me who don't have it all together, who don't have all the answers, you know.
Sure, sure. Yeah, so how are you, so what are you, you know, to be authentic, you know, what kind of things are you working on right now to make it better, and why?
Okay. So we're really working on kind of what are the challenges that women go through and making sure that we're focusing on those challenges when we're building a business. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is back office foundational. So we're focusing a lot more on that, kind of drilling down, and then how can we support and serve one another, not so much in just referrals, but in, you know, all kinds of things, social media and sales techniques and money-making activities and, you know, business development and how do we create a culture for our teams. And so there's a lot of things that we're kind of drilling down. And the Zoom calls have really helped in that. You know, the women are able to say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with right now. And so we're kind of making a list of things that we can then integrate into our services and what we talk about.
How do you think that this, how has this, the environment that we're in, how has that impacted you, your personal self, as it pertains to being able to make the impact on the women of Evolve?
So I'm an introvert. So anybody that knows me knows that I might be an outgoing introvert, but I'm kind of an introvert. So this really has, it's another piece to stretching me outside my comfort zone. So I had to learn in the beginning, of course, how to stand up in front of a room full of 30 to 50 people and facilitate and talk and not throw up, you know. So this is kind of another aspect of growth, personal growth for me, in being able to manage. You know, I've shared a little bit about some anxieties and some things that I struggle with. And so this has been kind of a great opportunity for me to really serve the other women and grow out of my own comfort zone, and offer an opportunity for them too.
Yeah, so, okay, so I'm going to ask you kind of one thing at a time. So keep your answers somewhat short, if that's okay. Give us a thing that you would like for the women of Evolve in H7 right now, the women of Evolve and the members of H7. What would you like them to get out of the virtual calls right now? Just one thing.
Resources.
Okay. Resources, okay. So give us a couple of resources you'd like for them to be able to get out.
So, I mean, resources in keeping your business going, resources in deeper connections that you could be making, resources in just things that you could be working on while everybody's home.
Yeah. But you wouldn't encourage them to stop, right? You would encourage them to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the okay, this is going to be a second. I was on the Indianapolis Evolve call today, and one woman is actually up leveling right now. Another one is building her business and helping other businesses automate. I mean, this is a great time to work in your business. It's a great time to continue making connections and just getting your product and services out there. People need to know they're sitting in front of their computer anyway.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for being on the call, and thank you for participating in this. Thank you, Angel. And again, I'm Clayton Hicks, and hopefully you've gotten to know Angel a little bit more, and then you'll get to know me a little bit more here shortly. Thank you.
Next. Bye. Thanks.